Some of America's biggest corporations are distancing themselves from U.S. lawmakers in the wake of last week's Capitol riot. Ed O'Keefe reports more than a dozen Fortune 500 companies have suspended political donations.
On Monday, Hallmark Cards Company asked for a refund from Republican Senators Josh Hawley and Roger Marshall, who received a combined $12,000. The company says that the senators' decision to vote to reject states' certified electoral college results last week do not reflect our company's values. American Express told employees Monday they're withholding donations from lawmakers who voted to subvert the presidential election results and disrupt the peaceful transition of power. Other major firms like Goldman Sachs, Citigroup, Facebook, Google, and Microsoft are going farther, saying they'll withhold all political contributions from members of both parties. Chemical giant Dow doing so for at least the next 2 years.
It's sending a ripple effect across all these campaigns.
Welcome to the Dr. John podcast. So this has just happened right now. In a 68-32 Senate vote with 10 Republicans breaking ranks, the 25th Amendment was sustained, officially declaring Trump unfit for office. And 45 minutes later, J.D. Vance was sworn in as president. Let me take you inside how we actually get to that moment. Because for months, for years, everyone said it was impossible. You need 67 votes in the Senate. 67. How do you flip 10 Republicans?
Because Donald Trump is radioactive.
Leslie Sanchez is a Republican consultant and CBS News political analyst and said the corporate giving ban could hurt many GOP candidates.
The question campaigns are asking themselves is how long is this going to last, and can they separate their campaign from the larger Republican Party and the aura that it has?
But Sanchez said that based on her conversations with top government relations executives, the giving ban is likely only temporary. 6
months and 9 months down the line, they expect those dollars to start flowing again. These are going to be based on individual relationships and not necessarily the party as a whole.
But CBS News political contributor Robbie Mook, a Democratic Party consultant, thinks this is a bigger shift.
How do you convince Trump's own party to pull the trigger on his presidency? The conventional wisdom said you don't. The conventional wisdom said the 25th Amendment was a constitutional emergency brake that would never, ever get pulled. But conventional wisdom didn't account for what's actually happening right now. Pressure, converging pressure from every direction. Legal, political, moral, media, all of it hitting at once until the dam breaks and Republican senators have no choice but to save themselves. Think about what has to happen to create that moment. You have Epstein survivors flooding every cable news channel, telling their stories, holding press conferences on Capitol Hill with portraits of victims. You have a courtroom witness breaking down under oath, fainting in federal court while testifying about Trump's direct involvement in a cover-up. You have Pam Bondi's exit from the administration, the Attorney General herself signaling that even she won't defend him anymore because staying loyal means prison. You have a contempt warrant from a federal judge threatening Trump with immediate jail time for defying court orders. And on top of all that, you have Trump himself melting down on social media, posting 30 times in a few hours, ranting about civil war and traitors and deep state coups. Every post proves the case against him. Every rant shows a man who is psychologically unraveling in real time. That convergence is what flips the votes. Because at that point, for Republican senators, the calculation changes completely. It's no longer about loyalty to Trump. It's about survival, their own seats, their own careers, their own party's future. Suddenly, voting to remove Trump becomes the politically easier option than defending him. Because defending him means being the party of the Epstein cover-up. It means being the party that stood by a president connected to child trafficking. It means losing every suburban woman in America. It means losing Congress in the midterms. It means being relegated to minority status for a decade. That's the nightmare that forces their hand. Behind the scenes, the pressure is relentless. Speaker Mike Johnson is on the phone with key senators. His message is blunt. If we don't act, if we don't remove him, the party is finished. We will be destroyed. We will have no path back. So the calculus flips. Removing Trump becomes the thing that saves the Republican Party. It becomes the thing that lets them say, we took action. We did what was necessary. We are the party of law and order. We removed an unfit president. That narrative saves their seats. That narrative gives them a lifeline with suburban voters, with women voters, with independents who are horrified by what they're seeing. And the cabinet is already there. 9 secretaries have signed the Section 4 declaration. 9 of Trump's own appointees have formally declared him unfit to discharge his duties. That triggers the 25th Amendment automatically. Vance becomes becomes acting president the moment those signatures are in. The House has already passed the removal articles. Now it's all down to the Senate. Just down to whether they have the guts to actually remove a sitting president. At 5:45 p.m., they do it. They actually do it. The gavel comes down, 68 to 32. Trump is gone. Within minutes, Vance is being sworn in. The presidency changes hands without any of the usual ceremonies, without any of the normal transitions. No parade, no inaugural balls, just a quiet oath in the vice president's office. Chief Justice Roberts administering it. And suddenly, the most powerful office in the world belongs to someone else. Trump has to watch it happen from the White House, knowing his own party abandoned him. His own senators voted him out, and there's nothing he can do about it. This is the nightmare scenario that actually becomes real. This is the constitutional crisis that ends Trump's presidency. Not through the courts, not through elections, but through the power of the Senate to declare him unfit under the 25th Amendment. And once it happens, once Vance is president, everything changes instantly. The legal landscape shifts. The political landscape shifts. The entire calculus of power shifts in a single heartbeat. Let me walk you through how we get there, step by step, because the 25th Amendment removal has never actually been used successfully in American history. Never. Not once. It's been threatened. It's been discussed in media think pieces. Political analysts have debated it for years. But a president has never been declared unfit and removed using this mechanism. So what would it actually take? What conditions would need to exist? The answer is pressure. Extreme, convergent pressure from multiple directions all at once. Legal pressure, political pressure, moral pressure, media pressure, international pressure, all of it hitting the administration at the exact same moment until the Senate has no choice but to act. Start with the legal side, because that's the foundation. The contempt warrant from Judge Sullivan is real and it's serious. Trump has been ordered by the court to comply with document requests, to turn over files, to obey legal orders. He's refusing. He's openly defying the court, saying, no, I'm not doing it. And Sullivan is not backing down. He's saying that's contempt of court, and there are consequences, real jail time. When Trump realizes he could actually be taken into custody by federal marshals, that changes his calculation. It makes him desperate. It makes him lash out. It makes him do things that look insane, like attacking survivors on social media at all hours of the night, screaming about fake victims and Soros conspiracies. And every single post he makes just proves he's unfit. Every rant confirms what everyone is thinking. This guy is not stable. He's not mentally capable of being president. Then you have the Epstein survivors. Their media campaign is everywhere. They're on CNN. They're holding press conferences on Capitol Hill. The courtroom witness has broken under pressure and said Trump's name publicly. The flight logs and the 2011 emails are circulating everywhere. You can't escape the story. It's on every channel, every newspaper, every social media feed. And suburban women are seeing this. Republican women are seeing this. They're horrified. They're disgusted. They're done with Trump. And they're making calls to their senators. They're saying, remove him. We don't care anymore. We don't want to be associated with this. You need to remove him, or we vote for Democrats in the midterms. That's the voter pressure that actually changes senators' calculations. And Pam Bondi is out. She signaled her exit from the administration because she looked at those Epstein files and realized what she was defending. She realized that staying loyal to Trump meant going to prison herself. She's not willing to do that. Her departure is massive because it sends a signal to the rest of the cabinet. If the Attorney General, the person whose job is to protect the president legally, is abandoning him, then things are really bad, really dire. That signal spreads through the cabinet, and 9 secretaries start thinking about signing the Section 4 declaration. 9 secretaries decide Trump is actually unfit, and they need to formally say so. Once 9 secretaries sign that declaration, the House has to act. They pass the removal articles. Then it goes to the Senate. And here's where the political calculation becomes crystal clear for Republican senators. If I vote to keep Trump in office, what happens to me? My own constituents are calling. Women voters are calling. Independent voters are calling. They're saying remove him. If I vote to keep him, if I vote to defend him, I'm voting against my own people. I'm voting against my own constituents. And in 2 years, when I'm running for re-election, they're going to remember that vote. They're going to vote me out. My own party will primary me. I'll lose my seat. I'll lose my influence. I'll be finished politically. So what's the smart political move? The move is to flip. The move is to vote with the Democrats. The move is to join Collins and Murkowski and Hawley and say, yes, Trump is unfit. Yes, we need to remove him. Yes, we vote to sustain the 25th Amendment removal. Because by doing that, I save my own seat. I save my own political future. I protect my career. I can go back to my constituents and tell them I did what was right. I put country over party. I removed an unfit president. I voted my conscience. I voted for the Constitution. That message plays incredibly well with suburban voters, with women voters, with independents. That message gives Republicans a path to recovery. That's what makes the flip real. Collins breaks first. She's already been critical of Trump. She's already been skeptical. She's already been willing to work with Democrats on certain votes. She says yes. She votes to remove him. Once Collins votes yes, it creates momentum. It creates cover for other Republicans, moderates, senators from blue states or purple states who have to worry about their constituents. Murkowski sees Collins. She votes yes. Hawley sees both of them. He's been critical of Trump lately. He votes yes. Suddenly you've got 3 major Republicans voting to remove Trump. That creates a bandwagon effect. Other senators start thinking, if I vote no, if I stick with Trump, I'm going to be seen as defending the Epstein cover-up. I'm going to be seen as putting party over country. I'm going to be seen as prioritizing loyalty to Trump over the Constitution. That's a terrible position politically. It kills your career. It ends your influence. It destroys your reputation. So more Republicans flip. 7 more, 10 total, 68 votes. The 2/3 threshold is met. The gavel comes down. Trump is out. There's nothing he can do to stop it. The Constitution has spoken. The Senate has acted. When that gavel comes down, everything changes instantly. Trump is no longer president. Vance takes the oath of office within minutes. Chief Justice Roberts administers the oath in the vice president's office. Trump is now a private citizen. He's still facing legal consequences. Sullivan's contempt warrant is still valid. The court orders are still binding, but he's no longer protected by the presidency. No more presidential immunity, no more power to pardon himself, no more ability to order the Justice Department to stop pursuing cases. Vance is president now. He can appoint a new attorney general who's not compromised. He can clean house. He can start moving the country forward without Trump's constant chaos and legal problems hanging over everything. For Republicans, that's actually a massive relief. It's what allows them to try to save the party from complete destruction. The global markets react instantly. Trading stops for a few minutes because nobody knows what happens next. Then the markets surge. The S&P 500 jumps. Investors are relieved. There's stability now. The possibility of normal governance. The possibility that the administration can actually function without the president having a meltdown every 5 minutes. That relief spreads globally. International leaders are relieved too. They don't have to worry anymore about Trump starting a war or imposing crazy tariffs or destroying international alliances. They can work with Vance. Vance is different, more predictable, more stable. That stability is worth something to the global economy and global politics. Markets surge. The dollar strengthens. The initial shock of Trump's removal starts to wear off and gets replaced by a sense of relief and possibility. But Trump is watching all of this from the White House. He's in complete shock, complete disbelief. He's thinking, this is impossible. My own party voted me out. My own senators betrayed me. 68-32. 10 Republicans stabbed me in the back. This is a coup. This is illegal. This is an attack. He goes silent for 9 hours. 9 hours with no posts, no social media rants, just complete silence. Then at 2 in the morning, he breaks that silence. He posts something like, illegal coup by fake Republican traitors. This is a constitutional crime. We will fight this in court and we will win. But it's over. The moment has passed. The Senate has voted. The Constitution has spoken. Trump is no longer president. Let me break down the actual mechanics of how this 25th Amendment removal works, because it's pretty straightforward once you understand it. It's not magic. It's not some crazy constitutional loophole. It's right there in Section 4 of the 25th Amendment. It says that if the vice president and a majority of the cabinet declare the president unfit to discharge his duties, then the vice president becomes acting president immediately, just like that, no waiting. The vice president takes over, then the House and Senate have to vote on whether to sustain that removal. The House votes first. If they vote yes by a simple majority, they pass the removal articles and it goes to the Senate. The Senate needs a 2/3 majority to actually remove the president permanently. That's the threshold, 67 senators. That's where the political battle happens. That's where the real fight occurs. That's where the Senate has to decide whether to actually remove Trump or vote to restore him. If 67 senators vote to remove him, he's he's gone permanently. Vance is president. Trump can never be president again. The first part of the process, the cabinet signing the declaration, is the easier part politically. Cabinet members serve at the pleasure of the president. But if they've genuinely come to believe Trump is unfit, they're not going to have a problem saying so. If they've looked at the Epstein evidence, the legal pressure, the contempt warrant, the constant meltdowns, and realized Trump is dragging the entire administration down, they'll sign. 9 of them sign. That triggers Section 4 automatically. Vance becomes acting president. The House has to respond. They vote on the articles. Democrats all vote yes. Enough Republicans vote yes that the articles pass. Then it goes to the Senate. That's the real battle. That's where the 10 Republican defections come in. Collins, Murkowski, Hawley, and 7 others. They all vote to sustain the removal. 68 votes. The gavel comes down. Trump is removed. Vance is sworn in within minutes. The presidency changes hands. The most historic moment in American constitutional history happens fast, decisively, with a 2/3 bipartisan majority that makes it clear this is not a partisan attack. This is the Senate saying this president is unfit and we are removing him. The immediate consequences are huge and ripple through the entire government instantly. Trump loses all presidential powers immediately. He can no longer pardon people, no more executive orders, no more appointments, no more treaties. He's a private citizen. That means Sullivan's contempt warrant can actually be enforced. Federal marshals can come to the White House and arrest Trump. They can take him into custody for defying court orders. They can do it right there in front of the cameras. His legal team can fight it, but he no longer has presidential immunity. He no longer has the power of the presidency protecting him. He's vulnerable in a way he wasn't before. Vance can appoint a new attorney general, someone who's not going to cover up Trump's crimes, someone who will actually enforce the law fairly. That changes the entire legal landscape. The Justice Department is no longer compromised, no longer trying to protect Trump. It can actually pursue cases against Trump and his associates without any conflict of interest. That opens the door to actual accountability, actual consequences, actual justice. That's what finishes Trump legally. That's what leads to convictions and prison time and the end of his political influence forever. The 25th Amendment removal rewrites constitutional precedent forever. It shows that a president can actually be removed if enough of the Senate votes to do so. It shows the Constitution has teeth. It shows there are real consequences for being an unfit president. That changes the balance of power between Congress and the presidency. Congress suddenly has real power again. The Senate has real power again. That's healthy for the country because it means no future president can get away with what Trump got away with. No future president can defy court orders or cover up crimes or attack survivors without facing the real possibility of removal. The president is checked. The power is balanced. The Constitution actually works. Internationally, the removal transforms the global perception of America. Yes, there's initial embarrassment. Yes, allies are initially shocked, but then it flips. Allies are relieved. They see that American institutions actually work. They see that checks and balances actually function. They see that Congress can actually restrain a president. That actually restores American credibility internationally because it shows we have functioning government. It shows we have the ability to police ourselves. It shows we're not a third world dictatorship where the president is untouchable. We're a constitutional republic with real constraints on power. That matters to allies and to adversaries. The political landscape shifts completely. The Republican Party has an exit ramp. They've removed Trump. They've passed the buck to Vance. They can move forward. They can rebuild. They can try to recover their image among suburban voters, women voters, the broader American electorate. It doesn't fix everything, but it gives them a chance, a path forward that doesn't involve defending Trump every single day. Short term, they take a hit. The base is angry. Trump supporters are furious. But long term, the party survives. It recovers. It rebuilds. That's what matters for the future of American politics. Trump faces the consequences, real consequences. He's no longer president, no longer untouchable, no longer protected by the power of the office. He can be arrested. He can actually be taken into custody by federal marshals. He can be tried in federal court. He can be convicted by a jury. He can go to prison. That's what the 25th Amendment removal actually enables. That's what makes it the kill shot. That's what finishes him politically and legally. Because once he's no longer president, once he no longer has the power of the office protecting him, the legal system can actually do its job. The courts can enforce their orders. The law can be applied fairly. Sullivan can enforce the contempt warrant. Judges can enforce enforce their rulings. Trump can actually face real consequences for the crimes he's committed. That's the moment when justice actually arrives. That's the moment when accountability becomes real. That's the moment when the system actually works. And that's why the 25th Amendment removal is the scenario that actually ends Trump's presidency once and for all. Because it's not just political, it's constitutional, it's legal, it's final. And there's nothing Trump can do about it. The gavel comes down, the votes are counted, the oath is administered, and the most chaotic, dangerous chapter in modern American history comes to a close not with a bang from Trump, but with the quiet, firm authority of the Constitution he spent years trying to break.